This is the Remote Work Life Coaches Corner with Alex Wilson Campbell. Tune in for another guided career reflection question to help you come unstuck and figure out your next steps so you can finally begin to work toward your career goals.
So today I want to talk about who is in your support network. You need a support network when you're working on a remote basis, especially. But even if you're not working on a remote basis, you need a support network. You need to be able to reach out to people for help. You need to avoid isolating yourself because that can have a huge impact on your work, on your mental health sometimes as well. So it's hugely important. It's something that I really underestimated myself again, and you'll hear me talk about this quite a lot in the early days of my own remote work life. So for me, I'm instinctively and innately the kind of person who likes to do things alone. And in the early days, in my younger days, I think ego took over in the sense that I said to myself, yes, I want to do this. I can do this alone. It didn't really matter to me back then how long it took me to do that particular thing, that particular task or whatever it was. I convinced myself that I'm going to do this alone. And as I changed my career and started to work on a remote basis, I kind of took those principles, those ideas forward, and it kind of was detrimental, basically, to my career. It was detrimental to my progress. So, yeah, and I learned the hard way that I needed to sort of really build a support network and not be afraid or not be fearful of asking for help or admitting that I needed help. And the support network is something that is hugely important, something that I'm really grateful for. I have many people within my network that I can call upon or talk to, ask for help, but I've really isolated it down to a small sort of group of people. And there's different categories, I suppose, of the people that I have in my support network. So family is one of them. Family is definitely one of the categories of people. So my wife, my mom, my sister, etc. These are people that I can turn to for support in different ways. And I know what kind of questions I can ask my sister. I know what kind of questions I can ask my wife, my mom. I know how they can help me. And again, I know it's not just a one-way thing as well. If as part of my support network, at least my family network, I can share with them things that are really not just things I want help with, but things that are concerning me or troubling me, or my progress, or what I'm doing, what my plans are. I mean, for example, there was a point where I was myself struggling to get back into work a few years ago, and I had to share. Yeah, of course, the temptation is to sort of protect, in inverted commas, your family, your loved ones, your people who are closest to you. Protect them from that, and kind of not let them know what your concerns are, etc. But for me, I did the opposite. Although it was against my sort of instincts, I shared what my concerns were. I told my wife I was having an interview on whatever day it was, or I was applying for this job or that job, so that she could understand where I was up to, and she could understand why I was looking a bit down on that particular day, etc. So she was in the know, and that helped me. That supported me. That was as much as it was hard for me to sort of share that sort of thing. It actually helped me when I look back. It helped me to make it through, and it helped us to sort of work together in that sense. So I had my family, and my sister, for example, was the one who was cheering me on and sort of really giving me the confidence to go forward and helping me to believe in myself and all those sorts of things. So I had my family there. So apart from my family, I also had really solid friends that are professionals who I knew I could speak to if I needed something that was a bit more specific in terms of a business thing or a sort of work-related question that I might have had. So, yeah, I had friends, and I have friends who I can just turn to, and we can have conversations. Again, we can boost each other when confidence is low, or we can have conversations about how work is going, conversations about ideas and plans, and we can sort of share sort of ideas on how we can build ourselves up and how we can improve ourselves. And in a way, having those friends who have that professional knowledge, they can then say to you in an honest way, actually, Alex, that's a good idea. That's not such a good idea. Why don't you try this? So that's another part of my support network, is that friendship group, but that I can really trust and rely on, sort of be honest and open with me with things like that. So there's a friendship group, but there's also, I have my own coach as well. I have somebody who, again, I can rely on to give me a bit more specific and strategic advice, or at least not necessarily advice, but direction, and ask me the right sort of questions that will help me to move forward and help me to make progress and help to keep me accountable. So there you can see 3 different types of support that I really depend on: family, trusted friends, and my own coach as well, my own professional guide. So which of those areas do you need to really improve yourself in terms of your support network? Because I'd suggest you need at least all 3 of those areas covered off. At the very least, you need somebody who you can speak to candidly, openly, somebody who you can trust and to give you honest advice, not to sugarcoat things, somebody who can really help you in a practical way. So, yeah, just think about that. That's the thought of today, is who is in your support network, in your support system. If you don't have a support system, you need to think about and start to, I guess, list down who would ideally be in that support system. So that's it for today. That's the question of today. Who is in my support network, and who can I ask for help?
That's it for today's episode of the Remote Work Life podcast. Click the link in the show notes below to access a free list of 100 remote businesses that hire regularly. And if you're feeling stuck or uncertain on issues of career or personal development, head on over to www.remoteworklife.io, where you can watch exclusive on-demand video featuring real-world remote work leaders and future of work experts on key remote work topics, including how to get clarity on your career direction, how to thrive while working remotely, how to network effectively and stay connected, and how to tend to your personal and career development needs. Go to remoteworklife.io now, and remember to connect with me, your host, Alex Wilson Campbell, on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook.